The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. The President, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, in a resolute address to the nation on the 73rd Independence Day states that he will discharge his duties as the President of all Sri Lankans. The Prime Minister says, work collectively to ensure the freedom gained in a meaningful manner for all Sri Lankans. The Sri Lanka Navy honours the nation on Independence Day by according a 25-gun salute on board the SLNS Samudra. The Archbishop of Colombo expresses hope that the government will make public the report by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks. The number of COVID-19 recoveries in Sri Lanka surpasses 60,000. The minimum age for contribution to the EPF to be tabled in Parliament. In international news, Uyghurs, US condemns reports of rape in Chinese camps. In sports, it's cricket, Sri Lanka cricket election in May. Local stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, in a resolute address to the nation on the 73rd Independence Day, stated that he will discharge his duties as the President of all Sri Lankans. The national event to mark the 73rd Independence Day got underway this morning under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The Independence Day celebrations were held under the theme, A Brighter Tomorrow, A Prosperous Motherland, at the Independence Square. Addressing the 73rd Independence Day celebrations, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledged to discharge his duties as the President of all Sri Lankans. President Rajapaksa said he has also issued directives to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry appointed to probe the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings. The head of state also noted that steps will be taken to end corruption in the country. The head of state emphasized that Sri Lanka is a democratic nation and all citizens enjoy equal rights and rejected attempts to segregate citizens on racial or religious grounds whilst protecting the fundamental rights and human rights of all citizens under the principle that one law should prevail in our country. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa vowed that he will never take decisions that will damage the country and pointed out that no contribution for the development of a nation can be expected from pessimists and those who do nothing but criticize the work of others. The official Independence Day ceremony concluded with a march past by the Tri-Forces and an aerial display by the Sri Lanka Air Force. In his Independence Day message, the Premier, Mahinda Rajapaksa, said Sri Lankans have stood the test of time, fighting many a battle gallantly in the long struggle to gain political, religious and cultural independence. The Prime Minister stated that despite many challenges we faced as a nation last year, we have embarked on a journey and adopted policies that focus on the growth of the economy by giving preference to locally produced items. The Premier noted that the Vistas of Prosperity Manifesto has carefully studied and identified areas in each sector that need reform to better serve Sri Lankans, not limiting, working towards a better tomorrow to achieve a prosperous Sri Lanka. To mere words, but a reality that is tangible and meaningful to all. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Cardinal Malcolm Ranjith has expressed hope that the government will make public the report by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry that probed the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks and implement the recommendations cited in the report. The Cardinal said it is only then that the country's Catholics will be served justice. In a mass to commemorate the 73rd Independence Day, Cardinal Ranjith said Sri Lanka emerged from a 30-year-long conflict and had begun rebuilding and developing the country, adding that persons responsible for attempting to create another conflict must be revealed. The number of COVID-19 recoveries in Sri Lanka has surpassed 60,000. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health recorded 684 coronavirus recoveries during the past 24 hours, increasing total recoveries to 60,567. The number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 66,409 following the detection of 711 new patients yesterday. The Ministerial Consultative Committee on Labour has considered a regulation pertaining to increase the minimum age for contribution to the Employees' Provident Fund from 14 to 16 years. The Parliament Communication Department said an extraordinary gazette notification has been issued in this regard, and it was agreed to submit the regulation regarding the amendment to Parliament for approval in the coming days. The committee convened yesterday under the chairmanship of the Labour Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva. The regulation has been issued in line with the amendment which was passed in Parliament recently to increase the minimum working age. The State Ministry of National Security, Home Affairs and Disaster Management said steps have been taken to launch a tree planting program covering all the Grama-Niladhari divisions across the country in relation to the 73rd Independence Day celebrations today. The State Ministry has advised the heads of the government institutions to utilize public places or private lands which have space and plant different kinds of trees while giving the priority to Mi, Kohomba and Kumbuk plants. The State Ministry has also requested to plant fruit plants or medicinal plants in home gardens. To end the local news, the headlines again. The President, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, in a resolute address to the nation on the 73rd Independence Day, states that he will discharge his duties as the President of all Sri Lankans. The Prime Minister says, work collectively to ensure the freedom gained in a meaningful manner for all Sri Lankans. The Sri Lanka Navy honours the nation on Independence Day by according a 25-gun salute on board the SLNS Samudra. The Archbishop of Colombo expresses hope that the government will make public the report by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks. The number of COVID-19 recoveries in Sri Lanka surpasses 60,000. That ends the local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, in parallel with the 73rd National Independence Day celebrations held under the theme A Wealthy Tomorrow, Prosperous Motherland, Sri Lanka Navy honoured the nation by according a 25-gun salute on board Sri Lanka naval ship Samudra at 12 noon today. The customary gun salute, the highest of its kind, was accorded under the directives of Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Nishantha Ulugethanna, as a mark of respect to the nation. The gun salute honour accorded to the nation on board SLNS Samudra today recorded in the annals of the Sri Lanka Navy as a tradition executed on board platform for the first time after 70 years. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watch Light. The Minister of Labour, Nimal Siripala de Silva, says the government is taking necessary steps to grant an allowance of 100,000 rupees to returning Sri Lankan expatriates who have lost their jobs. Speaking further, he said the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment has been directed to provide such returnees who plan to stay in Sri Lanka with an interest-free loan of 50,000 rupees in order to set up a business here. Sri Lankan expatriates who wish to return to the country can register themselves with the respective consular divisions of the Sri Lanka embassies or contact the Foreign Relations Division via 800-119-119 to provide their information. That ends Watch Light.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
From
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. U.S. condemns reports of rape in Chinese camps. The former LRA commander guilty of Uganda war crimes. France bomb plot. Iran diplomat Azadullah Assadi sentenced to 20 years. The United States has demanded serious consequences over reports of systematic rape and torture of women taking place inside China's camps for the Uyghur Muslim minority. It was responding to a BBC article based on interviews with former detainees and a guard. The U.S. State Department said that it was deeply disturbed by the atrocities. China's foreign ministry strongly denied this as a false report. A U.S. State Department spokesman said the report is deeply disturbing, including first-hand testimony of systematic rape and sexual abuse against women in internment camp for ethnic Uyghurs and other Muslims in Xinjiang. And went on to say, these atrocities shock the conscience and must be met with serious consequences. An ex-Ugandan rebel commander, Dominic Ongwen, has been convicted of war crimes at the International Criminal Court. Mr. Ongwen, a feared commander of the Lord's Resistance Army, is the first member of the LRA to appear before the court. He faced 70 counts of crimes against humanity and war crimes, but was acquitted on some of them. The charges all relate to an attack on a camp for internally displaced people in Uganda in 2004. An Iranian diplomat has been convicted of a plot to bomb a big French rally held by an exiled opposition group. Azadullah Assadi, aged 49, who worked at the Iranian embassy in Vienna, was given a 20-year jail term by the court in Antwerp in Belgium. 3 others also stood trial. All were arrested following a joint operation by German, French and Belgian police. It was the first time an Iranian official had faced such charges in the EU since the 1979 revolution. To end the world news, the headlines again. U.S. condemns reports of rape in Chinese camps. The former LRA commander guilty of Uganda war crimes. France bomb plot. Iran diplomat Azadullah Assadi sentenced to 20 years. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to development news. The government has taken measures to limit food crop imports recognized for cultivation within the country with the objective of containing foreign exchange. Therefore, it has been planned to grant 2,750 acres of underutilized lands identified from the Rambakan Oya zone controlled under the Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority. The Cabinet approved the proposal submitted by the Irrigation Minister to allocate the relevant plots of land under a lease for a period of 1 year to recognise local investors subject to the provisions of Crown Lands Ordinance depending on the progress of the cultivation. That ends development news. On to sports news. It's cricket. Sri Lanka cricket election in May. The election to elect the office bearers of the Sri Lanka cricket has been announced by the Minister of Sports, Namal Rajapaksa. Accordingly, the election of the SLC for the team 2021-2023 will be held from 10:30 a.m. on the 20th of May at the Ministry of Sports. Meanwhile, in the first test at Rawalpindi between Pakistan and touring South Africa, the match is delayed due to rain as Babar Azam and Fawad Alam shared 123 runs between them in a wicketless second session for Pakistan, who recovered from 22 for 3 to reach tea with the foundation laid for a big first innings score. When the match was delayed due to rain a while ago, Pakistan were 145 for the loss of 3 wickets with Babar on 77 and Fawad on 42. In the second tour match, where West Indies are taking on Bangladesh in Chittagong, on day 2, Bangladesh were all out for 430 runs. Mehdi Hassan Miraz contributed with the bat to Bangladesh's score with 103 and Shadman Islam 59. In reply, West Indies trailed by 355 runs in their first innings and were 75 for the loss of 2 wickets at stumps with overnight batsmen Craig Braithwaite and Nkrumah Bonner on 49 and 17 respectively. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
On business news, Sunindra Residencies and Food Court in Ragama is set to experience a major facelift, unveiling a food court and a new swimming pool open to the public with an investment of around 150 million rupees. These two additions will be first to the area. Sunindra Residencies was launched 5 years ago by Sunindra Managing Director Mahendra Jayasekara, who also hails from Ragama, recognizing the potential that the town has to offer as an upcoming commercial area and a health hub. That ends business news.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
On economic news, the Colombo stock market turned positive with both indices moving up, recovering from a nosedive yesterday. The ASPI surged by 239.18 points to close at 8,244.50, while the S&P SL20 index, which includes the 20 largest and most liquid stocks, increased by 106.07 points to close 3,293.45. The stock market on Tuesday suffered its worst crash in history. The ASPI crashed down by 561.75 points and the S&P SL20 dived by 251.77 points. Moreover, the market was halted twice after its blue chip index first dropped 5% and then 7.5% from its previous closing level. Meanwhile, 6.22 billion rupees turnover was recorded at the CSE yesterday. That ends economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
When will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, on the weather report, the Meteorological Department forecasts showers in the Uva province and in Batiklo, Ampara, Hambantota, Matale and Noora Eliya districts. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at few places in the Sabaragamu province and in Kalutara, Gaul and Mathura districts in the afternoon. It also stated that fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. The President, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, in a resolute address to the nation on the 73rd Independence Day, states that he will discharge his duties as the President of all Sri Lankans. The Prime Minister says, work collectively to ensure the freedom gained in a meaningful manner for all Sri Lankans. The Sri Lankan Navy honours the nation on Independence Day by according a 25-gun salute on board the SLNS Samudra. The Archbishop of Colombo expresses hope that the government will make public the report by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks. The number of COVID-19 recoveries in Sri Lanka surpasses 60,000. The minimum age for contribution to the EPF to be tabled in the Parliament. On international news, US condemns reports of rape in Chinese camps. In sports, Sri Lanka cricket election in May. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Over to my friend and colleague Mario Vijayawardena to keep you entertained. Over to you, Mario.